Hi, everyone. Anthony Fantano here, internet's busiest music nerd, and it is time for our weekly track roundup, where I go over what I felt were the best and the worst tracks of the week. You know what it is. Before we get too deep into that, I want to mention, of course, our sponsor, the good people over at ExpressVPN. A VPN is a virtual private network that allows you to use encryption to keep your online history, your browsing, private, keep it safe, keep it secure, keep it anonymous, prevent ISPs and greedy corporations from collecting your internet data and doing whatever they want with it. It's really sad and depressing that we live in a world where that is legal and that is possible, but a VPN, especially ExpressVPN, is a workaround for that, a solution to that very problem. Now, the service here that ExpressVPN has is really easy to set up, and once you're using it, you just kind of turn it on, leave it on in the background, and it's doing its thing. The service is less than $7 a month. You can hit up again the URL that is right here next to the logo, expressvpn.com/theneedledrop, to not only get the service, but also find out how you can get 3 months free. I use the service myself because I am a public figure who likes to lead a private life and does not want things like my internet browsing history in the hands of other people. And I encourage you too to make the same decision today by taking your internet privacy back using expressvpn.com/theneedledrop. That's express, EXPRESS, VPN.com/theneedledrop for 3 months free with a 1-year package. Visit expressvpn.com/theneedledrop to learn more and take back your internet privacy today. Also, before we get into the tracks, I do want to give a shout out to our Amazon and Turntable Lab associate links, which are down there in the description box as well. Use them to buy some stuff you were going to buy anyway, or on that Turntable Lab link, get some colorful pressings of vinyl that we have covered on the Needle Drop channel. Treat yourself because we get kickback from it. And let's get into the tracks that I thought were the worst tracks of the week. Not too many this week, as it seemed like a pretty decent, chill, laid-back week. We have a brand new single from John Mayer, which I can't really describe as anything other than super bland, boring, faux country balladry that is so incredibly sleepy, I can't really find anything redeeming or interesting about it. And also, Albert Hammond Jr. of the Strokes fame can't seem to write a song post-Strokes that doesn't sound like a boring, watered-down version of the Strokes with his new single, Fast Times. All right, let's get into the tracks that I thought were kind of meh. Not really crazy about them, but certainly worth shouting out and mentioning. First off, we have a brand new single from Weezer. They actually dropped 2 tracks this week. The other track they dropped actually made it into the best section, and we will talk about that later. But this particular cut that I put over here in the meh section is the song Living in L.A., which I thought was a pretty average piece of pop rock without a whole lot of flavor to the instrumentation. The pacing of the track just seemed very stale and static, and I think they could have done a lot to bring more character to this song, frankly. With this next cut, we have a new song from the Australian band The Murlocs. It seems like a pretty nice throwback to some 60s and 70s rock balladry, but with some quirky and very dark and disturbing lyrics. It feels nostalgic, but it also feels incredibly weird. Moving on from there, we have this brand new cut from the group Teen, who are pretty well known for their quirky instrumentation and their very colorful layers of vocal harmonies, but this is more of a toned-down cut from the group, more of a ballad, more of a slow burner. Didn't blow me away on first listen or anything, but maybe I see it as more of a song that will warm up to me as I hear the entire record. Again, didn't really stand out to me. Didn't seem as bold and as full of character as Teen's work usually is, but again, those beautiful vocal harmonies and some of the angular guitar work is here. So, it's just kind of like a mellower version of the group that we've enjoyed up until this point. Moving on from there, Stephen Malkmus has a brand new single out. Miraculously, it does not sound like the weird synth electro odyssey that his last single was. This one over here is a lot more toned down. It's titled Rushing the Acid Frat. Sort of seems like the same kind of slacker indie rock balladry that we know him for. Not to say that I think he should continue to do the same thing over and over and over and over, but it certainly is better executed than the last track that he dropped. Moving on from there, the band Priests, the art rock and post-punk outfit Priests, whose previous record I didn't really care for as much as many critics did, have come through with a new, very well-produced and incredibly dense and wordy new song that I think is pretty great, titled Good Time Charlie. A lot of political and social commentary packed throughout the track. Moving on from there, Johnny Marr of the Smiths fame has a brand new cut out. The title track, or rather the name of this new single, is Armatopia. And it's got a nice jangly but also synth poppy vibe to it that is quite nice. Not blown away by the songwriting or anything like that, but it's a pleasant single. It's a pleasant track to have on. Moving on from there, J-Rock has a brand new cutout, which seems like a very low-key and almost forlorn take on that Bay Area hip-hop sound. It's not bad. It's very slick. It's slightly overproduced. Not too crazy about it. It's titled The Other Side, has a few nice guests on it. Sadly, J-Rock just continues to underwhelm me. I just cannot, get as crazy about his stuff as many other people out there are. I wish I was, but I just can't find myself in that spot, sadly. Moving on from there, we have this track from this group who goes by the name of Hooveriii or 3. Not exactly sure how to say or pronounce their name, but they do have this new single up on Bandcamp, which is pretty catchy, kind of linear, kind of psychedelic. In some spots reminds me of Noi. In some spots reminds me of King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. If that is your vibe, if that is your sound, then I would highly recommend that you give this track a shot. Moving on from there, we have this new track from a group that I'm also just recently hearing about by the name of Guards. And it is a very lavish and well-orchestrated piece of just kind of old-school pop song balladry. It's very well produced and put together. Last Stand is the name of the song. With just the wonderful instrumentation on this track alone, this project is showing an incredible amount of promise. Moving on from there, Car Seat Headrest has dropped a Monkees cover that is linked down there below, which is pretty decent. It's of the song For Pete's Sake. And Alex Lahey, Australian singer-songwriter Alex Lahey, has come through with a brand new cut as well. Don't Be So Hard on Yourself. It is a sweet little piece of pop rock with a pretty funny and silly music video. Never been super crazy about her tunes, as sometimes I do find her writing or the instrumentation around it to be a little average or bland or straightforward. But you know what? She's on that normal Pokemon wave. You know what I mean? No crazy bells or whistles or anything like that. Just a straightforward song with a lot of heart, a lot of emotion, a personal angle coming through the lyrics. If you like your singer-songwriters to be no frills, no BS, I think Alex Lahey is the artist for you. All right, let's move on to the tracks that I thought were best tracks, favorite tracks this week. But bam, you guys saw it coming. Another Thotiana remix is down there in the description box, and Young M.A.'s is no slouch. It's a very fun Thotiana remix. And I think that we are going to just be covering Thotiana remixes from here to Kingdom Come. All right, moving on from there, Weezer, as I said earlier in the video, came out with another single this week. This being a different one, not the Living in LA one. This one is, excuse me, titled High as a Kite, and it is a very sad, depressing piano song with some pretty great lyrics. It seems like a little personal than normal, considering River's weird flow chart, Excel file piecing together way of songwriting these days. It's a very powerfully sad track, and it's attached to a pretty great music video that reminds me of like Weezer in the old days. So shout out to Weezer. Shout out to Weezer. All right, moving on from there, we have also a cut over here from UK hip-hop group. I hope I don't say their name wrong. Vibbar, and Bellerin is the name of this new cut over here. It is a very well-produced piece of UK hip-hop with a great beat, very colorful, very forward-thinking, some great flows, a lot of personality coming through on the rapping and the lyrics. Definitely looking forward to hearing more material from these guys. Moving on from there, we have Tierra, who has a brand new cut out titled Only Child. I gave a full-length review of it over on the Fantano channel. Love how basic and super catchy and emotional and powerful this cut is. It's simple, but it's got a lot of heart to it. And of course, given that it is Tierra whack, it's got a lot of weird personality to it too. Moving on from there, we have a brand new cut from Shlohmo as well, a great quality piece of beat music with a lot of flavor, a lot of layers, and a lot of quirk, but it's quite serious as well. Rico Nasty Sandy is the name of her new banger over here, attached to a very funny music video filled with awful memes and cursed images. Her vocals and her lyrics are as savage and as hard-hitting as ever. Kenny Beats, of course, is on production, and that means it's going to be super grimy. Moving on from there, Primitive Man has put out a brand new split with the band Hell. They have attached 2 absolutely disgusting songs to it. This one that I chose is called Oily Tears. Sounds like a noise metal, doom metal hellscape. Do not miss it. Also, Matmos have come through with the title track of their brand new album, Plastic Anniversary. I'm so friggin' excited for this album. The samples and the production and the twittering effects and weird sounds just sound amazing. So shout out to Matmos every day and all day for being one of the most riveting and intriguing musical duos of the modern era. Marissa Nadler has dropped a brand new track and single titled Poison, featuring John Cale of Velvet Underground fame. While John Cale's presence is not overbearing on the track or anything like that, John Cale fans may have wanted a bit more John Cale on this track, but still, it is an incredible ballad, very well produced, very naked and upfront as far as the production goes, and Marissa's delivery on this thing is absolutely dark and heart-wrenching. Lou the Human came through with, I think, a much more formidable single. I feel like this one's a bit more hard-hitting than his last one, frankly, which I think got a good momentum going, but didn't really do, dropping my pen here, didn't really do a whole lot with it. This one is titled Painkiller Paradise, and it's just got a really raw delivery and performance on it. So Lou the Human, you know, for those who have enjoyed his flow, his lyricism, his energy that comes through on a track, while this one may be kind of dark, he definitely does bring that on this new song for sure. Health and JPEGMAFIA have crossed paths on a brand new track titled Hate You, and it's an absolute banger. Peggy is a monster on the cut. Health's industrial, noisy soundscapes in the background are absolutely devilish, and it's pretty short, but hits pretty hard and leaves an impression. Also, Hayden Thorpe of Wild Beasts fame. We know that the band Wild Beasts, the art pop band Wild Beasts, sadly, they're gone. You know, they met their demise, but Hayden Thorpe now is coming out with solo material. That didn't take too long, I guess, and it's actually pretty good. This new track titled Diviner. It's a very beautiful piano ballad with some odd instrumental quirks to it, and yet, despite the fact that, you know, we are talking about the vocalist from Wild Beasts here, we are talking about some very strange and almost mystical instrumentation. It doesn't really sound like a Wild Beast song. You know what I mean? I think he's already on this debut track here, coming through with a piece of material that sounds kind of distinct from that. So very happy to hear that. Very happy to hear artists kind of going solo and sort of finding themselves individually outside of groups that people may have known them to kind of pal around with. Also, Freddie Gibbs and Madlib, Flat Tummy Tea, full-length review of this track on the Fantano channel. Go check that out if you have not. And yeah, love this cut. Production is grimy and incredible and trippy and weird. Freddie Gibbs is a monster on the cut. The lyrical flavor he brings on the first half of the track is totally different after the beat switch in the latter half. It's like a tale of two monsters on one song. And yeah, not really a lot of complaining to do about this cut. Really looking forward to what they are doing on the next project. And that has been the Weekly Track Roundup, everyone. Again, thank you for hanging out, checking out the Weekly Track Roundup. Hopefully you got some good recommendations out of it. Once again, I want to give a shout out to our sponsor, ExpressVPN. Make sure to hit up that link down there in the description box and support the people who are supporting us. You are the best, you are the best, you are the best. Anthony Fantano, Weekly Track Roundup, song recommendations, forever.